Today I'm joined by John St. Marseille, the General Manager of Infrastructure and Municipal Works. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you, Todd. Pleasure to be here.
Good things are happening. The budget's been approved. There's lots of capital projects on the horizon for 2016. But John, I have to ask you first and foremost, because we've seen so much activity around Brookdale Avenue, what are we looking forward to seeing there?
Yes, Brookdale Avenue has been quite a hub of construction activity. Demolition work, of course, associated with the old bridge coming down. So now we're into what's called Contract 4. So this is a partnership with the Federal Bridge Corporation. This is really their project, but the city is partnering. So the part of that Contract 4 is going to be rebuilding Brookdale Avenue, not only the road, but the sewers and the water mains that are underneath the road, from Water Street right up to the traffic circle.
So when that's complete, we're going to have a whole different version or view of what Brookdale Avenue looks like.
Absolutely. So we'll still have 2 lanes in either direction. The roadway will be moved west a little bit. There's going to be more of a dedicated separation boulevard in the center. Lots of plantings and urban green space planting. Vegetation, and also on the west side there will be the bike path will be extended through there again, and of course a sidewalk on the east side as well.
Also, John, Marlo and 9th seems to be a project going to be happening very shortly, and there's a school sitting there. Maybe you can elaborate to us in regards to what's happening there. Yes,
that's right. So we were successful in achieving some funding from the upper sources, both the provincial government and the federal government. So they're going to be contributing. That is a real bottleneck, as the citizens of Cornwall and area realize, the Marlo and McConnell Avenue. So yes, we had to acquire some lands in that area because of the reconfiguration of the geometry, particularly at the corner of McConnell and Marlo Avenue, including the former Gladstone Annex, as it's called. There will be some other widenings through that area associated with the southeast corner. So unfortunately there's some trees that will be coming out, but all part of progress in making that efficient intersection work more effectively. And that work is, there'll be some major disruptions there, there's no doubt. We might as well lay that on the line right now, but short-term pain for long-term gain as that intersection gets rebuilt right down to Alice Street. So it'll be widening and it'll work much better afterwards.
And for the people who enjoy the Cornwall Speedway, there may be a smoother road down the road.
Absolutely. So Cornwall Centre Road we've identified as being a prime candidate. There's, as people know that travel that area, there's potholes and a lot of pavement deficiencies. So that's going to be rebuilt from the new overpass west from there.
And when we look at the, not far from City Hall where we're taping today, 5th Street.
Yes, 5th Street. So this is what we call major reconstruction. So from Marlborough Avenue west to Amelia, and then again from Sydney to Pitt Street. There's going to be a complete rebuild, water mains, sewers, sidewalks, curbs, and the road structure as well.
And John, before we move on and talk about some of the other capital projects going on, I do know that people can access this information through the social media.
Yes, through our public information coordinator, Kevin Lajoie, we've actually got a map on that through social media that's available and through the city website. It's entitled 2016 Capital Projects. And it shows the various projects according to the type of category that will be undertaken in 2016.
So for our viewers who are watching today, you will see being posted on right now, you will see that it's color coordinated for your area. You just look at the color and you can see exactly what's happening for reconstruction in your area. John, tell us some more about the good things that are going to be happening this summer.
Well, I should mention, as part of this, further to this map that's shown with the different capital projects, we will be having open houses. For example, the road resurfacing program. So this is another big aspect of our annual road rebuilding. We call it shave and pave. So we go down, we grind, and we mill the existing asphalt and then repave it. So we've got about 5 kilometers of road that will be rebuilt. We will have an open house. We will notify people so they can come in and see exactly what will be done on their streets. Our water main projects, so we've got a lot of our infrastructure is like an iceberg, right? 9/10 of it is below the surface that people don't see. But the water mains, we've got what we call a big backlog. So there's a lot of work, some $40 million that needs to be done. So we're doing about $2 million worth of work this year, where we go in, we will put in a temporary water surface or the water supply on the surface of the streets to those residents, and then we go in and rebuild the water main without having to dig up the street. So that's a big advantage. That program will continue across many streets this year. New this year as well, and again, this is one of those 1/10 of the iceberg that people will see above the surface, and that's our street lighting. So in some areas we've converted already some of our antiquated sodium vapor lights, which have more of that yellow glow, and putting in a cleaner LED light, which is much more efficient, and the maintenance is much less. So you'll see completely throughout the city, I think there's about 5,000 lights that are going to be replaced with LEDs.
Now, if we're on our bikes or walking through along the bike path, we're going to see more of the water fountains.
We'll talk about active transportation after, but yes, our water bottle filling stations have been a big success. They were located along the Cornwall waterfront trail, installed last year. We should be reinstalling those, by the way, in the next 2 or 3 weeks as the frost goes away. So those will be reset again on the waterfront. But we've identified some other locations in and around some parks within the town. So we will be notifying people when those locations are verified, and we will be rebuilding those, hopefully close to the soccer fields and maybe some other park areas too. So we'll have 6 of those altogether, which is good.
And before we wrap up, you just mentioned another project. Just remind me of that project you just mentioned.
Active transportation. So active transportation, we had a media release a couple weeks ago, and we were successful in acquiring some funding from the provincial government to expand our what's called our urban loop. So we'll now almost have complete around the city an opportunity for residents to use a bike path or to use a bike lane, and to do a complete 21K transit around the city. So hard to believe our city is that large, isn't it? But that's going to be built up in the northeast corner of the city. So we're very pleased that we continue with those active transportation endeavors, sidewalks, bike lanes, etc.
John, there's so much going on that you even have to remind me of all the good things happening. So I appreciate that. And again, thank you for joining us on the show.
My pleasure, anytime.
We're talking with John St. Marseille, General Manager of Infrastructure and Municipal Works. Good things happening in the city of Cornwall. I'm Todd Alone for Local Matters.